Tonight, we remember a Louisiana journalist who spent his life uncovering the truth about some of the darkest chapters in our nation's history. His work brought peace to families who had wanted and waited for generations for answers. Our Perry Robinson has more on that tonight. Perry.
Hey Greg, he was never in law enforcement, but through years of investigation, reporter Stanley Nelson uncovered answers families have been waiting decades to hear.
After 40-some years, it took a journalist to give us the information that the FBI or the local police have never given us.
Imagine going your entire life without answers, and one day, a man with a pen and notepad gives you the truth you've prayed for. That was the moment between Denise Jackson Ford and longtime reporter Stanley Nelson.
It took Stanley Nelson to give us some kind of peace.
Nelson was a newspaper editor and co-founder of the Cold Case Project at LSU. But his most coveted work centered on unsolved murders committed by one of the most notorious groups in American history, the Ku Klux Klan. Nelson passed away in June of this year and was honored during a special program in Baton Rouge. But before his death, he was able to do what police could not: identify the likely suspects behind some of the most brutal killings in the South. One of those cases was Denise's father, Wallace Jackson.
Just as he began to make the left turn off of Minor Street to go on to Pine Street, the bomb exploded.
Jackson was a civil rights activist in Natchez, Mississippi, and was killed in 1967. In the early 2000s, Nelson began investigating the unsolved murder, and after years of research, including interviews with former Klan members and informants, he was able to identify by name the men who likely killed Denise's father.
My mother passed away before all of this came to fruition, and her hope was that someone would be named as the, murderer of my father.
Nelson used that same formula in the case of former Louisiana Deputy Sheriff O'Neal Moore.
My dad was murdered by night riders who did not appreciate the fact that he was one of two deputy sheriffs that were appointed in Washington Parish in Louisiana.
Moore and his partner were ambushed in 1965. Presumably by the Klan. Nelson was never able to determine exactly who pulled the trigger, but he did uncover suspects and shared that information with Moore's family. Moore's 4 daughters were among those in attendance for tonight's celebration of Nelson's work.
He could have chosen a number of other cases, and there's so many civil rights cases, but he chose ours, and we're grateful for that.
They may never see justice in a courtroom, but Nelson's work gave their family something just as meaningful.
We have accepted that we're not going to know. We have accepted that no one's going to be prosecuted. Whoever would have been prosecuted is probably no longer alive. So we are okay.
Well, Nelson wrote 150 stories on Klan violence and was a finalist for a Pulitzer Prize in 2011 for his work. He died at the age of 69. Greg, back to you.
Thank you for that tremendous